This is the color scheme that I use for my videos. Make sure you copy down the black.
27, there's at least two ways to do this. A rectangle was altered by increasing its length by 10%. So a rectangle, here's the original, and then the second area is going to have its length increased by 10%. So if you were to multiply L by just 1, that wouldn't change anything, but if you multiply it by 1.10, or then that would increase it by 10%. If you wanted to decrease it by a p%, you could multiply the width by 1 minus p. Now somehow that's supposed to be equal to the original area, and then it's decreased by 12%, 1 minus 0.12. So 1.10 times, I'm moving the L and the W towards the middle, just combining them. And remember that A1 is just L times W anyway. The resulting statement about all this is that basically L and W don't even matter. You can divide both sides by LW, and you just left with these increasing growth factors right here. 1.10 times 1 minus p equals 0.88. You can divide both sides by 1.1 to get this, and then I even just pulled out a calculator and figured out this is 0.80. And then you can add p to both sides and subtract both sides by 0.8, and you get 0.2 is equal to p. And that's the answer. The p percentage you would have to decrease it by would be 20%. Compare that to this over here. There's another method. You could basically just guess and check. We know that length 1 is 10, and you could also just give values to L and W. If they're not here, you can assume that L is 10 and assume that W is, 5. Your choice. They cancel out. You can see over here algebraically they cancel out. It doesn't matter what choices you give. So if length 1 is 10, then length 2 is going to be 11. You got that by multiplying by 1.1. Width 1 is 5, and you could guess and check 4 times until you get the one that works. Guessing that answer choice C, if you have 5 and multiplying that by 0.80, that's 20%, 100% minus 20% will give you 80%. So multiply 5 times 0.80 to give you the 4. And then you can see that the area gets decreased by 12%, multiplying it by 0.88 to get 44. So if this is an actual rectangle, then C is the answer. Your guess is correct. 11 times 4 is 44, and it is. This process won't work. You won't be able to say the length times the width equals the area if you decrease the width by any of these other choices. You've got to decrease it only by 20%.